Where am I?
The pit of despair.
Well, it is, isn't it? A pit of despair. What a week. What a week, full stop. I've been really busy. I've had a lot on, hence why no video, so apologies for that. All sorted now. And giving me a chance to focus on Wednesday, which do we really want to at minute? I mean, that's good news, is it? And there has been a lot of news coming out this week. News, but not news, because it's all been stuff coming out that we already knew. It's just been confirmation of what we already knew. So the EFL have come out and admitted, Wednesday are under embargo. Yesterday was the 14-day response period that the club had got to say what were going on. The EFL have now confirmed we've got a 3 transfer window ban up to January 2027. And people say, why can't the EFL be tougher, Well, the EFL are bound by their own regulations, aren't they? Regulations that are signed off by the football club chairman that are in the EFL. I mean, that's a bit like a farmer going down to Fox's Den and saying, these are my security plans for new hen coop. What do you think about that? And Fox is going, all right, you're going to build it on a concrete pad? I won't do that, mate. Have you thought about building it on loose soil? No, I'm sure nothing will dig under there. No, I'm sure that won't happen. Do you know what I mean? So a 3 transfer window ban up to January 2027 on spending money on players, which, what sort of punishment is that for a man who's not spending any money on players anyway? Can you imagine him sat there in dock? Okay, I hope this is a light sentence. I don't want life. What's it going to be? Oh God, here we go. I don't have to spend any money on players. I can get in there, what a result. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit like when you watch them shows, isn't it? When you've got some scroat, some 14-year-old kid joyriding a car through an estate, and then he clips a lamppost and runs for it and coppers and nab him. And at the end of these shows, you always get that voiceover, don't you? And the 14-year-old boy from Liverpool who stole the car, he's been given a 3-month driving ban. He's 14-year-old, didn't even got a licence. He's stolen a car. Not sure what use a 3-month driving ban's going to make to him. He's like, oh, sweet. Same thing, same scenario for me, that. So a man with no money who don't want to spend any more money and told us that in January 2022, not another penny from me, He's been told, don't put any more money. Don't sign any players for money, pal, He's been punished, but the fans and the club have been punished more. That's what it boils down to. What else has happened this week? Well, there was a fans meeting up at the Wadsley Club. Again, a lot of it confirmation of what we knew, but obviously probably brought it to a wider audience that were streamed by Wednesday Till I Die podcast, which a brilliant idea because that spreads out, because some people still don't know. So that spread the word more about the spending or lack of spending in the last 5 years or so. Obviously, Chelsea came in, chucked money at it, and then since then the pot has dried up. Confirmation of that. Impassioned speech from Chris Turner there as well. Do you think he'd had a few sherbets? Impassioned speech from him when he called Mr. Chansiri a twat, which seemed to get a warm reaction there from the crowd. What else has happened this week?
Never realized how happy you made me, oh man.
Rob stating on radio, Sheffield needed a Wednesday special. I've only seen about an hour of that because, like I said, I've a horrifically busy week with lots going on. But the interesting thing that came out of that was the interview with Milan Mandaric, who obviously is the man who sold the club to Chansiri back in the day, and he sounded really upset, actually. Sounded really upset and quite frustrated and angry. And then he's going, I'm in town. Was it 27th? He said he's flying over. I'm in town, me, Redgate, Aldridge, we're getting the band back together again. How old is he now? 85, 86? Not sure I'd want the hassle at that age. So he's talking about coming in and meeting Chancery and maybe putting a consortium together himself, or maybe acting as a broker, intermediary, and trying to get other people interested in buying the club and perhaps talking to Chancery that way. It does sort of tie in with something else that I saw a couple of months back. Do you remember when the show business first started and there's a Florida-based consortium? And then there was some talk, there's a Delaware consortium. And people might have jumped the gun a bit and said, oh, it's that Walton family and Walmart, it's them. That's all gone very quiet. But then I just twigged something. They said it was a Delaware-based consortium. So people jumped at the Walmart thing because that's where they're based. And then I remembered back from when Mandrick bought us, his business interests were run out of Delaware at that time. So was he the second party all along? The second group? Or perhaps, and this is where the little angel on my shoulder, the angel of positivity, is trying to say to me, well, I don't know how big Delaware is, Jim. Maybe Mandrick knows the Walmart people. Maybe he's trying to get them involved. That's a little Mr. Positive. On the other shoulder, of course, you've got the devil. Well, not really the devil, more like the voice of experience. That's a load of bollocks, Jim. But you're clasping at straws, you know, and I am. I think we all are at this stage. Mr. Chancery apparently asking over £100 million for a club. I mean, I don't... In what world that club could possibly be worth £100 million? I do not know. I do not know. I hate to mention them down the road. But let's look at the evidence. A better playing squad. Parachute payment money. A Premier League standard ground that's already including all VAR stuff in there and everything else. 2 training grounds. A third on the way. A Category 1 academy. A ground with a hotel. What was it, 110? What have we got? We don't own our ground. It's owned by the owner's missus. Even if we did own the ground, it's falling down. And quite literally, in some places, part of it's having to be welded back together just to get it through another season. There's chunks falling down. A 2 adult training ground, again, that we don't properly own. There's refurbishment work going up there, but I've got to tell you, it's largely not changed since I was up here. An ageing playing squad, half of who aren't under contract, a manager that don't want to be here, a coaching staff who've got no idea whether they're staying or not, what's happening with their contracts, members of staff not being paid. How can that be anywhere near £100 million? It's absolute lunacy to think you could get that. Now, I know the argument will be, it's only worth what people are prepared to pay. I'll tell you now, there's nobody going to pay £100 million for that. Not with the conditions that he's wanting. I mean, that was another thing that came out. He wants to keep 10%. In what world? In what world? Actually, Mr. Chancery, it's been radio silent, hasn't it? And it was the tremolos, weren't it? Silence is golden. And as a rule, with him, I'd agree with that. I would agree with that because we have these fans forums when he'll go on for 5 hours, and he's jutting finger out at people and his midnight missives. I mean, remember Cisco's revealing press conference when he was announced as manager? He just starts going on a rant about Leighton Palmer. There's all let fans put their hands in their pockets. I'm not putting in another penny more. You think you can do a better job? And so usually silence is golden. You think you have to put a dummy in it. Get out of the way, let manager do his job. But we're in a situation now where the club is in huge, huge peril. Probably the worst trouble it's been in its entire history. And this is a time when you want him to come forward and answer some questions. You know, this is a time when you want to say, now then, Lippy, come and face it now. You know, but he won't. He's out of the way. He's out of the way because his ego won't take being questioned. and having to answer them questions. And again, that little angel, he's been quiet, Jim, because he's that busy trying to sell the club. And one or other side's going, is he folk? So there's all that going on. Barry Bannon has been linked with York City. The very fact that is a sentence that's actually left my mouth, I can't believe. No against York City. Been up to Bootham Crescent in my sin in past, but Barry Bannon can get another championship club, more than capable of playing for a championship club, but as he proved last season, yet again. So he could go, for Mayo, he could go, Patterson, he could go. None of them signed a new deals. And the idea that we could go into a new season with only Otted Bayo, a young kid with plenty to learn, and Iofa, who arguably his best position's right back, and he's had a hell of a lot of injuries in his career. The idea we're going in with them two alone at centre half is, a massive concern. But at the minute, we've other bigger concerns. We can't sign anybody for a fee. Like I said, we've got a manager who don't want to be here. We don't know the coaching staff. I mean, when does the season start? And when does pre-season start? I mean, when pre-season starts, did somebody say weekend at 26, around about that time? Fans of other clubs are looking at, what after this player, what after that player? Oh, we've got these pre-season games. Oh, that one's abroad. Maybe we can tie that in with an holiday. And, our fans, no idea. No idea. Mushroom department. Kept in the dark and fed shit. So who's taking pre-season? I've got these visions in my head of our pre-season starting, and it being like a Sunday League team, 4 lads turn up with an head bag. Where's every other fucker? Don't know, I haven't seen him. But, no coach, no gaffer. And just chucking bags down. Well, we'll have a kick about it, That's how it's looking in my head at the minute. Everything's up in air. Mandrick says in his interview how difficult it is to deal with Chansiri, but he hopes he can do it. There's all the Adam Shaw stuff still going on. So many rumours regarding that. As I said, a lot of people just seem to have took against him because he dyes his beard. As I said, I don't get it myself in Pierce the Ginge. But it's not a reason to be against a bloke buying a football club. But some people say he ain't got the funds himself. I thought it was quite clear from the interview that Flanagan did with Rob Staten the other week that it's not really about Shaw's money. He's one of a number of people with money. And those rumours have been doing the rounds. I mean, have you heard the Matthew McConaughey one? That's the one that I keep hearing. I've been hearing that for the last 3 months. I don't mind you, if he got involved, even our lass would probably start going to game and she hates football.
Come on, man. Yeah. Trick me into thinking it's mine.
So it's all up in air. We stumble on young Kedda March is going or gone, which is gutting that young talent's going in the circumstances that he's going. At any other time in our history, and I genuinely mean this, at any other time in our history, if somebody said, we'll give you £1.5 million for a 15-year-old kid, you'd say, fucking sound, we'll have a bit of that. Because we all potential in the world, you don't know if they're going to fulfill that potential. The game is littered with promising young kids who never fulfilled it. So £1.5 million, sound. And I do hope the kid does go on to have a stellar career, by the way. But at this moment in time, I'm gutted he's going. Because all it's going to do is it going to pay the wages for a month or 2 months? It's just going to extend the misery on for another 4 weeks, 8 weeks. That's why I'm gutted. I'm presuming that money ain't gone through yet because the players still aren't being paid. We're on what, the 19th? It's the 19th. They've got to be paid again at the end of this month. There's a tax bill due as well at the end of the month. If we get to that, if we get to 2 weeks on the spin when, 2 months on the spin when the players haven't been paid, they're entitled by FIFA regulation to be able to hand in a fortnight's notice. It's an absolute disaster zone. An absolute disaster zone. And somebody messaged me the other week and said, you must be revelling in all this shit so you can do your videos and talk about the shit and this. Not really, no. I love football. I love talking about football. But when I say I love talking about football, I mean I love talking about headers and tackles and brilliant wing play that puts a full-back on his arse. I love talking about goal-scoring partnerships and people on hot scoring streaks and goalkeepers making brilliant reflex saves. What I don't like is coming home from a 12-hour shift at work and sitting down with a printed off PDF file reading through FIFA's regulations about player payments and then putting that down and then looking through another PDF file for EFL regulations. That is not what a football fan wants to be doing when he's thinking about football at night, when he's been at work all day and he's trying to relax. You know, put work away, compartmentalise that, and now my hobby, football. What am I going to do? I'm going to read 60 pages of bloody rules and regulations. Nobody wants that. Believe me, nobody wants that. What else is happening? Apart from Wednesday lurching from one pit of despair to another. Oh, I've had a message. Nominated for a Football Content Awards. Yes. I don't exactly know what that is, if I'm perfectly honest with you. But I've been sent a link. Somebody's nominated me, and you can now, apparently, vote or nominate yourselves. I don't fully get it. I don't even know what it's about. And I'm probably asking a bit much, actually. I've seen the demographic of my audience. I'm surprised most of you are actually watching this video, seeing there's a lot of you still haven't learned how to click the subscribe button. So press that and press that little bell. And if you get a chance, go in the description under this video. There'll be a link in there and you can vote for this channel for some award or something. I don't really know. Is it a piss up? I won't mind a piss up, actually, the way things are going at the minute. I think I'm about due a blowout. So, yeah, vote. I don't know exactly what you do. Just click on it. Just click on it. Press it. Have a read. See what it says. Fill it in. I don't really know. Yeah. So that's about it. Sheffield Wednesday, an unmitigated, rudderless disaster. An 85-year-old man on his underwater phone is on about riding to rescue. I mean, if this were a book or a film pitch, you'd read it and go, well, it's alright, but it's a bit fucking far-fetched. You know, you've got to keep the audience on side with a bit of realism. And yet it's actually happening to our club, our historic, famous club. It's absolutely sickening, you know. It really is. It's like watching an accident in slow motion. You know, and you see something and you're like, no. It's like that, isn't it? You can see it coming. Disaster on the horizon. And no way stopping it because there's a fucking lunatic at the wheel. Anyway, I'm glad to be back after my brief hiatus. I just wish it were in better circumstances than this absolute shit show. More news as it breaks.